Good morning and welcome to the Transgender webinar presented by the IHSA. My name is Stacy Lambert and I will be your host this morning. As we move through our slides here, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us. And if you have any questions after the presentation, please contact the IHSA office. We'll be more than happy to help you navigate this area of our policy section. Before we jump into the transgender policy, I want to touch briefly on the affirmative action policy for girls on boys state series teams, also by many people called Title IX. We do, as the IHSA, have a policy that talks about girls participating on boys teams. The policy is based, as I said, in Title IX. It would not allow a boy to participate on a girls team, as that would take away that opportunity from the female gender, which is the underrepresented gender in Title IX. So we would allow a girl to participate on a boys team because the law would say that that would not take away an opportunity from a male and would not affect the growth or hurt the growth of a girls program. It is important to note that in the Title IX law, the IHSA is not the enforcement agency. The State Board of Education monitors the federal law, and really it's a partnership between the school and the State Board of Education to make sure that the school is in compliance with Title IX. So as I said, this policy applies to the IHSA state series. When schools want to enter girls into the boys state series tournament, there are a few things they have to make sure that they have checked off. Number one here is that the sport is only offered as a boys team. There's no girls team. So when we have girls participating on boys golf teams, for example, the school does not host a girls golf team, meaning that the boys team is the only opportunity that the girl has to participate in golf on a team. The girl also would have to have participated on the boys team during the regular season, and the school would need to have secured a letter of verification from the Illinois State Board of Education indicating that the school is in compliance with Illinois sex equity rules. Now to jump into the transgender policy. The IHSA established the transgender policy to address the participation of transgender students in all IHSA state final series, athletics, and activities. The purpose of the policy is to really help schools and families navigate their questions as they move through this eligibility process. For the purpose of this policy, we use the following definitions. Transgender is a person whose gender identity doesn't match the sex assigned to him or her at birth. Intersex is a person who is born with a reproductive or sexual anatomy and/or chromosome pattern that doesn't seem to fit the typical definitions of female or male. Gender identity is a person's deep felt internal sense of being male or female. And gender expression is a person's external characteristics and behaviors that are socially defined as either masculine or feminine, which would be their dress, their speech, mannerisms, etc. So for the policy, the gender identity and the gender expression are the two important pieces that schools and the families would need to look at for their student athlete. Now, when a school has a student athlete that comes to them and shares with them that they are transgender and that they would like to participate in a sport that is opposite of their birth gender, the school would need to follow through with the following information to make sure that they have everything that they need or everything possible to request their eligibility ruling. It is understood that not every student athlete will have everything on this list, and that's okay. We're just asking for the school to collect as much information as possible so that the ruling can be made as quickly and easily as possible. So we would ask for information such as gender identity used for school registration records, any medical documentation. This could be, hormonal treatments, any kind of counseling, anything that the student has gone through medically either physically or psychologically, that could help with the identification of their gender. And then any gender related advantages that that student or that team would be gaining if their participation was approved. Once the school has collected all of the relevant information that they can, they should contact the IHSA office in writing and request the ruling for the student athlete. It is sometimes helpful if the athletic administrator or principal can indicate in that writing to the IHSA what the student athlete is wanting to participate in and what they have participated in the past. That always helps paint the clearest picture that they can so that our executive director can make a ruling with all the information that is possible to be had. Once the information is sent into the IHSA, we will make a ruling on the student's participation. We do have a group of medical professionals from Lurie's Children's Hospital in Chicago that we use as in an advisory role when we're reviewing these rulings. Those folks really help us out on the medical side of things to let us know where the student is in their transition. As I said, once we receive the information, we do respond back to the member school in writing, letting them know the decision of the IHSA in regards to that student's participation. Once, I should back up 1 second here. I apologize for that. I advanced too quickly. Once a student's eligibility ruling is made, that is the ruling that stands for that student's athletic career, unless something changes. If the student starts taking a new medication or a medication is increased or decreased or changed in any way, the school should work with the family to request a new ruling, as that student situation could have changed. So if that occurs, we would ask that the school reach out to the IHSA and let them know that there has been a change, and then a new ruling will be made for that student athlete based on the change in the information that was originally provided. A couple areas of awareness here that I would just like to touch on for schools. As you're working through this with your student athlete, make sure that you have a plan in place. Make sure that we're using the correct names and pronouns that that student athlete has identified as. It's always important to have a plan in place for gender appropriate restroom accessibility, locker room accessibility. Make sure that your teachers, counselors, coaches, school administrators, and students have been trained on transgender sensitivity. This should probably be done before you even know the student is around, so that it doesn't single out one individual. But it's always important to have these steps taken and have things in place so that when a student does come to you and let you know that they are transgender, that you have already things in motion, that it's a smooth transition, and like I said, you're not singling out one individual student. That is the end of policy 34. It's pretty short and sweet. As I said, if you have any questions, please reach out to the IHSA office and let us know. I don't see any questions in our chat box at this time, but we'd be happy to help you navigate through these situations with a transgender student athlete if one should come through your doors. Again, my name is Stacy Lambert. I am here at the IHSA office, and I want to thank you for joining our webinar today. I hope everyone has a wonderful Wednesday and stays dry. Thank you.